What if I told you the thing that you're most afraid of doing is the thing that could change your life forever? Stick around because I'm going to explain to you how the behaviors that you're doing right now are rooted in fear and you don't even realize it. So obviously today we're going to talk about fear, but not the kind of fear that makes you jump like in a horror movie or something. This is the kind of fear that keeps you stuck in life. And some would say that's even worse than watching a horror movie. Being stuck in the same patterns, routines, and life that you've lived for so long that's completely unfulfilling. That shit's the scariest thing ever. That's worse than a horror movie. This is the kind of fear that disguises itself, that sneaks into your thoughts and convinces you that playing it safe is the smart choice. Because here's the truth. Fear isn't always obvious. It doesn't always feel like terror. Oftentimes, fear, it comes in the form of procrastination or perfectionism. It comes as overthinking and thoughts like, I'm just not ready yet. That's how fear manifests itself whenever you're trying to accomplish something in life. That's the fear that we're going to talk about today. Fear doesn't, like I said, fear doesn't always show up as fear. It shows up as busyness. It shows up as overthinking. It shows up as excuses. It shows up as that voice that says, well, let's just wait until Monday. We'll start Monday. That procrastination, that's fear screaming at you. Think about it. How many times have you told yourself that you were just waiting for the right time? How many times have you convinced yourself that you needed just a little more preparation, a little more research, a little more confidence? The fact of the matter is, that's fear, and fear can be sneaky as hell. One thing that I like to say is that fear disguises itself as procrastination. Have you ever noticed whenever you're about to do something important, suddenly everything else is urgent? You're supposed to be making those cold calls, but first let's check Instagram. You're supposed to be going to the gym, but first, let's watch one more YouTube video about fitness. Let's research and get that perfect program that we're going to stick to. Before we go to the gym, we got to find that perfect program. And while we're at it, we might as well find some way to dial in our diet for when we go to the gym. Oh shit, now the time's passed, I don't have time to go to the gym. Maybe I'll go Monday. Or you were supposed to send that email, but now all of a sudden you need to clean your kitchen. See, all of that is just fear. You see, our brains would rather keep us comfortable than allow us to take a risk. So it throws distractions at us, it makes us hesitate, and it convinces us that we just need more time. But time isn't the issue. Time's not the issue. Fear is the issue. Another thing is fear disguises itself as perfectionism. So let's talk about perfectionism. I just want to get it right. I just want to make sure I have all the information. Does that sound familiar to you? Because that's how I used to talk. I had to make sure that I researched the hell out of whatever I was about to do, make sure I had all the information. But the fact of the matter is, you're never going to have enough information. You're just going to keep on collecting all of this knowledge and this information, and you're never going to act on it. You keep on looking for this information because you're trying to capture a feeling that you think that the right amount of information is going to provide. But I can tell you, you're never going to get the feeling. You can research all you want. You can get all the information that you want. You can get all the information that exists, and it's never going to provide that feeling of being ready that you're looking for. That's why you want to get all this information, because you're looking for a feeling that you think that it's going to provide. And I can assure you that feeling is never going to come. The only way that you're going to get that feeling is by taking action on the information that you currently have. You're never going to have enough information to feel ready enough to take the action. You just have to take the action, and that's how you're going to obtain that feeling. Now, here's the thing that people get confused. Perfectionism isn't this high standard that you've set for yourself. It's fear. It's fear of judgment. It's the fear of failing publicly. It's the fear that you're not enough. But again, perfect is never going to come. And the people that you look up to, that you admire, they took those steps without the need to be perfect. They didn't start perfect. They started messy. Anybody that has ever accomplished anything great, the first ideation of anything sucked. And the successful people that accomplish these things are okay with that. They understand that that's part of the process. You're going to learn as you go. They started messy. They started scared. They started not having all the information. Everything that you're looking for, they didn't have it, and they started anyway. And that's what you have to do. And because they started, they grew as they went and ultimately became who they are, who you know. But it didn't start off like that. You can see all the memes and all the pictures of where Elon Musk started, where Jeff Bezos started, where Bill Gates started, where Warren Buffett started. These are garages and hole-in-the-wall offices. You see them now, and you see the glitz and glamour of everything that they've accomplished, but everything starts small in the beginning. And so often, people are scared to even start because they don't want to be seen as starting small. That's part of the process. If you can't get over that fear, then you're never going to accomplish the things that you have in your mind to accomplish. Everything starts small. Everything has humble beginnings. And it's just a part of the process that you have to go through if you want major achievement. You have to stop trying to make it perfect. You have to stop trying to wait until you have all the information. Don't make it perfect, just make it exist. Another thing is fear disguises itself as overthinking. What if it doesn't work? What if I fail? What if people judge me? You know what happens when you spend too much time thinking about something? It magnifies. You make it bigger. So when you're thinking all of these negative thoughts, like people are going to judge me, or what if it doesn't work, or what if I fail, you're magnifying that. You're magnifying that thought, and which makes it even harder to start because you're making these fears so much bigger in your head than they actually are. And in the meantime, while you're sitting there, magnifying your fears, there's somebody else over here that's less capable, less knowledgeable, with less talent, but more courage. And so they are getting far out ahead of you because they had the courage to start. Now, thinking is good, planning is good, but at some point you have to get started. You have to act. And if you can learn to control your thoughts, and if you can learn to shift from overthinking to action, your fear is going to shrink. It's going to get quieter. Again, I bring this up in every video that we ever talk about fear. Layla Hormozi has a great quote that says, "Fear is an inch deep and a mile wide." It looks massive from a distance, but when you take that first step, you realize that there was never much there to begin with. But you have to take that first step. You have to do it scared. You have to do it with your voice shaking and your hands clammy and the sick feeling in your stomach. That's the only way to overcome the fear, is to do the thing scared. And it's going to set you free. Every single time you do the thing that you're scared to do, the fear goes away. You've been set free from what was holding you back, and you go to the next level, and you realize and have faith in yourself that you can accomplish hard things. You can do difficult things that you're scared of. They don't have to have power over you anymore. And most people wait for confidence before they move. They wait for confidence before they do anything, not realizing that the actual moving and the actual doing is what's going to create the confidence. You're not going to have confidence when you haven't done shit to develop your confidence. Confidence doesn't just magically appear. And confidence doesn't appear when you've gathered all the knowledge that you can about the thing that you're trying to do. That's not how you build confidence. You build confidence by making promises to yourself, delivering on those promises to yourself, and understanding that you can do difficult things. And when you do difficult things that you're scared of, you build confidence. When you act in spite of the fear that you feel, you build confidence. Now, what most people don't realize is that most fear, it comes from things that have happened to us in the past. Past wounds, past traumas, past events. It comes from the past, and your fear doesn't come really from the present reality, but the fears that you've developed from things that have happened to you in the past. For instance, maybe you dealt with childhood rejection. Like maybe as a kid, you raised your hand in the classroom, you gave an answer, the answer was wrong, and everybody laughed at you. Or you tried to befriend somebody and they rejected you. And that moment hurt. And so now, as an adult, you don't put yourself in situations where you could be rejected. You don't put yourself in situations that could potentially hurt your feelings. You hesitate before speaking up in meetings, or you refuse to share your ideas. These are just manifestations of the fear that you picked up as a child. But that rejection was a moment that happened, and you're carrying it with you as though it's like a life sentence. It's not a life sentence. It was a moment. And you don't have to continue carrying that moment with you, which is now prohibiting you from chasing your dreams, prohibiting you from speaking up, or prohibiting you from taking that risk that's going to advance your life considerably. Maybe it was a past toxic relationship that you've carried with you and is now negatively affecting you. Maybe you love somebody and you gave them everything that you had, and they betrayed you or abandoned you or just broke your heart. And so now you've built this wall up and you've told yourself, well, I'm never going to allow anybody to hurt me ever again. And you carry that into the rest of your life. You got to understand that one person's action isn't the definition of love. You have to understand that unconditional love is possible for you. Certainly, there's a risk. Certainly, you're going to have to open yourself up and risk being hurt. But the contrast is isolation, and that is guaranteed loneliness. The other thing is maybe you failed in the past, and so you're scared to start something else. And because of that failure, now you hesitate to do anything new. But you have to understand that every successful person has failed. And oftentimes, every successful person has failed more times than anyone else has even tried. Failure is a part of the process. And the faster that you can realize and understand that, the faster you can get moving and start failing as much as possible. Because with each failure, you gain wisdom, you gain knowledge, you get closer to who you're trying to become. Failure is inevitable. It's going to happen. But you have to reframe what failure is to you. Failure does not mean quit. What failure is this didn't work. I need to try something different. There's tons of examples that you can look up. Edison with the light bulb, J.K. Rowling with the Harry Potter books. There's so many times that people have gotten rejected, but they just kept going. They didn't see it as failure. They just redirected. And ultimately, they got to where they're trying to go. And the same thing happens with you when you continue going through the failure. Failure is not final. Continue past it. Recalibrate where you're trying to go and continue going. Because failure is just the price of admission. If you want to achieve anything great, that's part of the process. Now, let's look at the contrast of fear, and that's faith. Your faith is the magnet for just extraordinary breakthrough. Fear will keep you locked in one place, but faith, it attracts opportunities, it shifts your mindset, and it moves mountains. When you move in faith, you take steps despite your fear, despite being scared. And when you do that, you're aligning with something bigger, and doors open up, opportunities show up, synchronicities happen. When you truly believe in yourself and you truly believe what you're trying to accomplish, and you take those steps in faith to get there, despite the fear that you feel, amazing things happen. And amazing things happen because you had the courage to believe that something was waiting for you on the other side of your fear. And we have already discussed numerous times that what we focus on expands. So when you focus on the fact that good things always happen for me, I am going to make it. I am going to walk through my fear despite the fact it's hard to move. When you keep your mind focused on faith, when you keep your mind focused on the fact that you can accomplish anything, you're going to accomplish everything. So if you have unwavering faith that everything is always working out for you, no matter how it looks in the present moment, your success is inevitable. Now you have to understand, through all of this, fear is just the test. It's just a test. That's all it is. It's not real. It's a test. Certainly it feels real because it puts you in fight or flight. It makes your heart rate go up. It releases cortisol into your body. It makes your stomach upset and your hands clammy and your throat lock up and your words stutter. Certainly fear manifests itself in those physical things, but it's not real. You can overcome it. You can walk through it. When you act despite fear, it opens up a brand new realm for you. Fear is just a test. We just spoke about the boredom test, but before you can even get to the boredom test, you have to pass the fear test, because the fear test is the biggest one. The fear test stops most people, but it's not necessarily the fear of action. Like I said, it's procrastinating and thinking you have to have all this knowledge before you even start. And so people just never even start because they think they have to have all this other stuff, not realizing that that's fear. Fear is what's stopping them. And it doesn't have to. That's what I'm telling you. Fear doesn't have to stop you. Do the thing scared. You're going to be okay. And you're going to become a new person. You're going to become stronger, more resilient, more confident. You just have to do the thing scared. And on the other side of that fear is where your best life begins. So what life are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to remain in fear that's been holding you back? You have all these dreams and these aspirations and things that you want to accomplish, but you haven't done shit because of fear. But you can do it. You just have to prove to yourself that you can do it. I mean, it's a choice. You can either stay stuck in your fear or overcome it. Most people stay stuck in their fear. Unfortunately, it's a sad reality. Can you imagine the inventions or the positive impact that people have inside of them that they could make, but they never do it because of fear? And it's like the old saying goes, like, the cemetery is full of unfulfilled dreams, unfulfilled potential, because people let their fear hold them back, not realizing walking through it, doing it scared is what sets people free. They're scared, so they stay right where they are. They're scared to leave the job, so they stay in an unfulfilling job forever, just doing the bare minimum to get by until they either get fired or go find a new job, or they just repeat the cycle. Instead of chasing that dream that they have because they're scared to do it. Or the people that have the brilliant business idea but just never start it because they think they have to have more knowledge, or it's just not the right time, or the market's too saturated. And so they never move. And so they end up dying with this amazing business opportunity and idea inside of them. Don't be that person. That's no way to live. It's no way to live by letting fear hold you back from reaching your truest potential, because you were here to live out your highest potential, to become the best version of yourself. And it's available for everyone. Everybody has the potential, and everybody has the opportunity to realize their true potential. Everybody has the opportunity to live the life that they dream about. But you just have to pass the tests along the way. And they are tests. They're not easy, but you're always going to be okay. And the further along you go, the more confident you get. Certainly, new levels, new devils. So when you get to the next level, there's going to be some other challenges. But if you look back at your past life and look at the fears that you overcame and the challenges that you overcame, you will understand, I'm going to overcome this too. But you have to start. You have to start on the basics. The basic is overcoming your fear, doing it scared. The basic is continuing to go when you get bored of it. But you will pass the tests. And the tests are pale in comparison to the joy that's waiting on you on the other side of you passing those tests. And remember that you don't have to do it all at once. Just start. Just take one step today. Just do one thing scared today that's going to help you to move forward to the life that you dream of having. We all have dreams. We all have wishes and hopes and desires and the way that we would prefer our lives. And that's the whole point of all this. That's the whole point of me doing all this, is to to show you and tell you, like, you can be, do, and have whatever you want. You just have to change your mindset. You just have to pass some tests along the way. But it's possible, and you're always going to be fine. You have to gain that confidence by doing them scared. You're going to be fine. You're going to learn along the way. You're not going to have all the information before you start. You start and then you gain the information as you go. That's all I got for today. Smash that like button if you're tired of living in fear. If you're ready to move to the next level. It's possible for you. It's possible for everyone. You just got to pass the tests. Drop a comment below if you need some help. What fear is holding you back? We all have them, and we can all overcome them. That's all I got. Make good choices. Overcome your fears. Do it scared. Have a great day.